it was on the Shadow of the Blade when we started hearing stories about these guys and their the medevac guys. So we always said when we did Shadow of the Blade, we're going to go back and make a film about Dust Off because that would be an awesome film. And so we always pledged that we'd make this film, and we had the opportunity to go to Afghanistan and get into the war zone and actually fly with them. And that's when the magic happened. But the idea crystallized when we flew the Huey for Shadow of the Blade.
And how did you arrange this trip? I mean, how did it come together?
Oh, it was very complicated, but in a way it was really a perfect match. The commander of this unit in Afghanistan, his father flew medevac Hueys in Vietnam. Now he's flying medevac in Afghanistan. So the family legacy was so unique that we couldn't pass it up. It was just a great story. So Pat Zenk is the commander of this unit in Afghanistan. His dad was one of the original guys that pioneered medevac in Vietnam. And to be able to fly with him and to see his passion and to know the family connection with saving lives in the battlefield, it was just a great story. And Pat opened his arms and welcomed us over there. That made the difference.
Is his dad still with us?
His dad is now dead.
I see.
Yeah.
That would have been even better.
Oh, it would have been great, yeah. Because there's not too many, there's a lot of sons serving today whose fathers served in Vietnam, but there's not a lot of young men flying helicopters whose fathers flew helicopters in Vietnam. So it is a unique connection.
What, other than his willingness to do it and his invitation to do it, what did it take to get it done as far as bureaucracy and red tape and that kind of thing?
Well, when you want to go to a war zone, it's always a little complicated. You have to be in good physical shape. You got to have a lot of insurance. And you're going into combat, so the military is very careful about who they allow on the battlefield. Aside from that, it's just a lot of paperwork. It's very expensive, complicated, takes a long time, and you have to find somebody willing to accept you as a journalist. You can't just walk on the battlefield. So you have to have somebody who says, hey, I want you to come tell our story. And in our case, since we had such credibility in history with the medevac, it wasn't too hard for us.
And you see, you have to have lots of insurance. Who the hell is going to sell you insurance when you're going into combat in Afghanistan?
Exactly. It's complicated, but like everything else, money will take care of that problem. It's just expensive. A 30-day policy for life insurance is about $5,000.
Well, that's really not that bad when you consider where you're going.
Yeah, I guess, but I think the fear for everybody that goes to Afghanistan as a journalist is that not that you'll be killed, but that you might end up like many of the Marines that are coming back without your legs or without an arm or your eyes. That's the real horrific part of that war.
And you have a family. How did that go down?
Well, my family is very supportive. They felt like it was an important story, and they supported me, and I was very fortunate. Cheryl and my young daughter Claire said, we've always talked about this film. We've always said we support the warriors, and now it's time to step forward and take that next step. Put your money where your mouth is, and so I got good support.
Good. They were done.
As long as the insurance was paid for in advance, I had good support. Honey, is your insurance paid for in full? Fine. You can go to Afghanistan.
Surely they were relieved to see you return, though.
They were. They were. It's dangerous duty. I mean, there's been more combat journalists killed in Afghanistan than any other war. It's just a very dangerous place to be, and you're flying in helicopters into places where somebody else has already been shot or stepped on an IED, and here you are coming just moments after that's taken place, and you're outside the aircraft. You can't take pictures from inside the cocoon. You got to get out with the medic. You got to go. You got to go where they're going, or don't bother going at all.
Given the danger that you're talking about, the unpredictability of it, the possible consequences, where's this passion come from in you?
I think every every cinematographer looks for an opportunity to capture something that nobody else can get. And I've filmed almost everywhere else in the world, but never in combat. And it's always been a dream of mine to kind of understand and experience combat, firsthand. And it was just something I couldn't pass up. I don't think I would be happy with my career if I hadn't gone and experienced for myself. And I don't think I would have had the credibility to tell the story had I not stepped forward and done it.
All right. So that's the professional end of it.
Yeah.
What about the emotional end of it?
It's I worried about having a little PTSD myself, from having to take photographs and video of people in their worst possible moment of their life. They've just lost their leg or their arm or something like that. So emotionally, I worried about what kind of toll it would take on me. But oddly enough, having a camera as that distance between myself and the injured person, it seemed to be a buffer, and it didn't affect me the way I thought it would.
You wanted to tell these guys a story?
I felt like I was. I mean, people say they're called to do things. I really felt like I was called to do this. To be entrusted, to be asked to come over and tell this story is really an honor. And you can't just pass that up. When somebody says, "We want you to do this film. We want you to tell our story," it's hard to pass that up.